Hello guys, what's going on? Today we're going to be looking at the two fusion rifles from Crota's End of Vault of Glass, the Praetorian foil, and the Light of the Abyss. Okay, so first up we have the foil. So you can get this one from the Templar on Vault of Glass, but only on hard mode. This weapon is notorious for being the rarest weapon in the game and has a very, very low drop rate. But if you are lucky enough to wield one of these, it will sure come in handy. So let's talk about the foil a bit. What perks does it get? Well, it gets glass half full, which is unique to the foil, I believe, for fusion rifles, and it causes more damage on the bottom half of the magazine. It also gets reactive reload, which every single time you reload after a kill, you gain bonus damage. On top of all that, it also gets the unique Vault of Glass perk, Oracle Disruptor, which comes in handy when you are trying to take out oracles, obviously, and you're able to one-hit them even on hard mode. Alright, cool. Let's take a look at the Light of the Abyss now. So you can get the Light of the Abyss from Crota on normal mode. And the Light of the Abyss has a way quicker charge time, but lower impact than the Praetorian foil. To add to that, the Light of the Abyss has the quickest charge rate for any fusion rifle inside the game, outside the Vex Mythical class, which doesn't really count. And the Praetorian foil has the highest impact for any fusion rifle in the game, but it's also tied with a couple of others. Light of the Abyss gets hipfire and also crowd control, which are two pretty solid perks. In the middle tree, it gets access to speed reload, which is the one I use most of the time, but you can also use extended mag, and it'll increase the mag size by 1, which is not really worth it. The weapon also does bonus damage to Hive Majors, which is not amazing on a fusion rifle, considering it only does a little bit of extra damage, and for the most part you don't want to be taking out knights with fusion rifles or any Hive Majors. So here we can take a look at the two fusion rifles side by side. The Praetorian foil manages to shoot its 5 shots in 7 seconds, and the Light of the Abyss manages to fire 7 shots in about 8.5 seconds. As for the spread, it's kind of hard to tell because we're standing so close, but I think the Light of the Abyss has a bit of a wider spread or an earlier drop-off than the Praetorian foil. So with that, we can analyze the stats of these two weapons. If you didn't know, fusion rifles actually do have headshot modifiers. It's just not precision damage. It's technically bonus damage. So the foil they're pretty similar. So the foil has 262 to the body, where the Abyss has 270. And for the heads, the foil shoots 523, and the Abyss shoots 540. Now, keep in mind, fusion rifles fire 7 bullets, so that number is multiplied by 7, and therefore we get a total damage per second of 2,615 with the foil, and 3,112 with the Abyss. So what does this all mean? Well, not much really. But what you can get from this is that the foil and Abyss are very close, even that the Abyss is at 331 damage. So in the House of Wolves, when it's released on May 19th, the foil will be doing a lot more damage, and probably damage per second, than the Abyss. But for right now, I'd be using the Light of the Abyss in PvE, unless you are doing oracles on the Vault of Glass, which I would 100% use the Praetorian foil. As you can see, we switched over to PvP, where most of the time you will never see a fusion rifle. This is because they basically become extinct due to the recent nerf of their spread pattern. However, both these weapons are top tier legendary fusion rifles, and personally I think the foil hits way harder and is more of a guaranteed kill, whereas with the Abyss it's able to shoot quicker and also gets that crowd control buff, so it's able to take out multiple enemies better than the foil. And for PvP, I wouldn't say use one or use the other. I'd say, whatever fits your playstyle better. If you're more cautious, I'd probably use the foil, but if you like to jump out in the open and try to grab multiple kills, I'd probably stick with your Abyss. As for the PvP stats, they're not too important. All I need to know is that the foil does a bit more damage. However, both weapons you're going to need 5 rounds out of the 7 to hit. Other than that, there's not really much to say. The only other thing that I'd add is the Abyss is a bit harder to hit moving targets. I'm not sure why, I think it has to do with the spread pattern. Anyways, let me know which one you guys like better. That's it for me, and hope you enjoyed. And I'm out. See you in the next one.